Yep.
Messages north of me.
10-4. Messages north of me.
Hey, well, I'm sorry, that's on you. From the west.
You need to be listening to the hospital. I'm not certain until the emergency.
Something called Pete's Cocktails off of Una. If they could park in that lot, that'd be great.
Can Lincoln for you or cover T, 10-9-6?
Main and Una.
10-4. For all units still responding here, park behind Pete's Cocktail at Main and Una. Again, units parked behind. I have one of your units, 441 Zebra, clear from witness checks and they're available. Can I use them to handle a couple calls? I'm just confirming you're asking for a bigger car.
Central.
146 on.
Yes, ma'am, sorry to bother you. You have 1/2 of 41.
Mike Hastings, H-A-S-T-I-N-G-S. I'm a lieutenant with the San Diego Police Department's Homicide Unit. This evening at about 10 p.m., San Diego police officers responded to a burglary in progress of an occupied residential house in the 3600 block of Main Street. When officers arrived, one particular officer, 25-year veteran Jeffrey Sweat, S-W-E-T-T, was speaking with witnesses in the alley near the residence. As he was speaking with the witness near his police vehicle, which was running, a suspect came out from the alley and got into the police vehicle and drove towards Officer Sweat. Unfortunately, Officer Sweat was in the path of the vehicle and was ran over by the vehicle and actually taken up on the hood of the police vehicle as the vehicle was being driven. A second officer at the scene opened fire at the suspect. The suspect has been transported to a local hospital. A canine dog was deployed to take the suspect into custody from the police vehicle. And we're still trying to figure this whole thing out as far as what happened prior to this. Officer Sweat was transported to a local trauma center. It's my understanding at this time that he has sustained serious injuries. His condition is not known. However, we do not believe his injuries are life-threatening at this time. I should have an update within the next 2 hours on his condition, and I will be doing updates hopefully within the next 4 to 6 hours for the media on updates on Officer Sweat.
Approximately how fast was the car going when he hit him, or give us an idea of how much space was between the officer and the car once the suspect got in it? I mean, could he get it going pretty fast?
Right, and I don't know the answer to that until I take measurements on all the evidence at the scene that's in the alley, along with damage to the vehicle. The police vehicle ended up on a guy wire for a power pole, and so the front of the vehicle is suspended up in the air, portion of it, which we will be looking at daylight to get all the damage off that vehicle so we can try to understand and piece together all the parts of exactly what happened in the alley.
Was the police vehicle hit by gunfire?
I don't know that at this time. I believe it was. However, we still need to confirm that, and that'll be done by processing the police vehicle.
Was the other officer that fired the shots a partner in the same vehicle, or was he a secondary officer in his own vehicle?
He was a secondary officer in another vehicle.
Any more info on the suspect? Approximate age, male, female? Is he known to officers?
Yes, the suspect is 25-year-old Frank William Bogard, B-O-G-A-R-D, and I don't know anything other than his identity at this time.
Is he also suspected in the burglary, or?
Yeah, again, we're going to have to figure that out on if he was part of this incident or not.
Okay, and the burglary, things were actually taken? Or was it attempted burglary? Or
the original radio call was that someone was attempting to break into an occupied residence. I believe there is a broken window that was found on the residence, so there was some sort of entry attempted to be made. And again, this was an occupied residence.
Did the people that occupy that residence, are they the ones that called the police?
I don't know. I know who the reporting party is. I don't know if it was the occupants in the house. I'd say that's probably a safe bet, though, that it was. Yes.
But no one in the house was injured, as far as
Correct.
you know.
Yes.
And that was a house, not a business, not the Gamma Industries or whatever?
Correct.
And it's right off the alley, the residence is right off the alley
Yes.
here? Okay.
Are you guys looking into, or have found that you're going to be looking into surveillance video from the businesses that may have captured the incident?
Yes, we're scouring the area right now. We have a full contingent of homicide detectives here, along with many other investigators. We are working on video camera of not only the area, but any other evidence at the scene to help us piece this together.
Give us a brief overview, if you can, of the investigative process and just basically what you guys will be doing and maybe how long you'll be out here. Just kind of background information.
Well, everything at the scene is evidence. That includes casings, weapons, any sort of evidence on the ground. And so the homicide investigators are very good, as you know, of recreating these crime scenes and putting things where they started and putting things where they ended. For us to be able to tell what's gone on. Again, the physical evidence is pivotal. So the homicide investigators are tasked with doing that, and they will be out here till, I would assume, at least 11 or 12 o'clock today processing the scene.
Are you able to say yet how many shots were possibly fired? Or
I don't know that.
more than one, do you know? Or
At least one.
at least one?
But also just one officer on the fire?
Yes.
And we saw Chief Zimmerman here at the scene as well as at the hospital. Maybe just give us an idea of what she does in this situation like this.
Right. Generally speaking, whenever an officer's injured, the chiefs do respond to the scene. They're very concerned about the police officers, of course, as all of us are. And so they come and they make sure the officers are doing well and get the condition of what's going on, and also meet with the families of the officers that are injured.
And were these two units that were here, they were the only ones that were physically on the location at the time, or were there other officers on the street or other areas?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know how many officers were en route to a burglary in progress. I know there were at least two here when this happened.
And maybe just one last thing, maybe just to address how somewhat every call is important and stressful, but I guess just to emphasize again how things can turn that quickly.
Yeah, you know, police officers in general in San Diego every day respond to radio calls and not knowing what's on the other side of a door or not knowing who's possibly in an alley that they pull into. And so that's why their training is so important, and that's why their seniority is so important, so that they can apply those things and get through things safely.
I guess one other question about the car. Is the car that's up on the guy wire, is that the car driven by the officer that was injured?
Yes.
And is there any information on like a family, spouse, children of the officer?
Yes, the family has been obviously notified, and the police department is doing everything they can to help the family and to connect them with the officer. I don't know what the status of that is, though, of the where the family is at this time.
So you can say he's married and has children, or?
I'm not going to comment on any of that right now.
Can you say again, so the suspect did not get very far. We're talking once he stole the car, attempted to steal it.
Yes.
We're talking feet. Is it possible to say?
I would say yards.
Yards.
I wouldn't say feet, but again, that's very preliminary at this time until the investigation is completed.
And are you able to say at this time if the shot or shots were fired before or after the officer was struck?
Yeah, I don't know exactly the sequence of those events. Although I'm sure you can imagine seeing an officer on the hood of his police car as the car is being driven away is somewhat a little bit stunning, if you will. So I'm not sure when the shots were actually fired, but it was some sequence of events when that vehicle was being taken.
And in terms of the injuries, are you able to say any more? Head, internal, or broken bones, anything like that?
Right. Again, this happened just about 2 hours ago, so there's a lot of tests being ran. Again, they are considered serious injuries, however, not life-threatening, and that's all that I know right now.